Okay, I hope it works this time. I just had to reset the connection. Gosh, of course this would happen. It's like my last live of 2020, and here we are. Okay. Yay! I think it's working this time. Connecting us. Hopefully there's no more issues. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Oh my gosh, I'm like, of course this is like the last live of 2020, so there has to be like major tech issues.
Yeah, Instagram's like, I'm going on Christmas leave, thanks.
Yeah, exactly, right? How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Very good. Thank you so much, and thanks for your patience on all this. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Oh well.
Tech issues. Gotta love them. Gotta love them.
Totally. Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I hope everyone's doing good. So I'm back in the States and I'm live here with Katie here in the UK. And I'm just super excited to feature her for one of these boss interviews. So every Tuesdays and Thursdays, I love to feature just amazing individuals doing amazing things so we can just add as much value as we can to all of you young professionals and entrepreneurs out there. So I'm super excited about today's guest. I'd love to introduce you all to the lovely Katie. So she and I met through our business coach like back in September, I think, or maybe earlier than that, maybe May. It's all kind of a blur now. Yeah. So Katie's a social media coach. She specializes in helping women business owners use Facebook and Instagram in a simple way to grow their business through engagement, consistency, and content. Katie first started her business back in 2011 when she left the Royal Navy, and she's helped hundreds of women from all over the world make social media work on their terms. So I've always been really inspired by your work, and this is your zone of genius. I'm super excited to just be able to feature you, and I hope all of you tuning in are just ready to take notes and learn because I know Katie just going to drop so much gold.
I hope so. No pressure.
No pressure. I know you'll do great. So thank you so much for being here on this Q&A today. I'd love to first get started with, can you tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got started? Like, how did you end up in this space?
Yeah, so I actually, like you said, I came out of the Royal Navy, and it was actually the end of the recession.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't really realise that, because when you're in the armed forces, you're just in such a little bubble. You don't really know that much what's going on, like in real life, as I call it. So we had also just got a puppy because I was going to be home on my own. And I'd never lived on my own because obviously my partner was still going to be in the Navy. So he was only coming home like odd weekends. So my husband had always wanted a dog, so we got a dog, and this dog had terrible separation anxiety. Aww. And it was such a nightmare. I would like leave him for 2 hours and I would come home and like he was so upset, the house was destroyed. And I was like, okay, I need to find a job where he can come with me. And thankfully, because I live like on the outskirts of the city, there was quite a lot of opportunities, but none of the jobs like really like, I don't know, made my heart sing. It was kind of like a job for the sake of getting a job. And one day my friend Joe said, Katie, why don't you start your own dog walking company? And I was like, don't be silly, I can't do that. Yeah. And she was like, well, why not? Go on, go and do it. So I literally researched what I needed to do. And about 3 weeks later, I had like set up everything that I needed to, got my insurance and things like that. And then I was literally like on my Facebook page, I was like, I'm available. And I was like, well, why is my phone not ringing? Yeah. I was like, I don't understand it. Like, who doesn't want to hire me to walk their dog? And then, I realised that there was obviously a bit more to it than that. Like, I didn't really know about marketing myself or networking. So that is exactly what I started to do. I started learning about how to market myself on Facebook and like networking with people. And then 6 months after I'd like learned all of the basic stuff, I was completely fully booked in my business.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then my local fellow dog walking friends were like, Katie, can you teach us what you've done on Facebook? I was like, yeah, of course I can. And they would, you know, we'd be sat at the pub with our laptops, you know, and they would be buying me drinks to say thanks. And I was like, after I think about the 8th or 9th person I helped, I was like, I think there's a gap in the market for this.
Yeah.
So I started helping pet business owners with their social media. Absolutely loved doing that, and also got to see lots of cute photos of dogs every single day.
Can't beat that.
Yeah. And then in 2018, I decided that I wanted to rebrand, because actually my real passion was helping women in business, and I felt like my expertise and my knowledge just wasn't for the pet industry. I could help any, you know, women who have their own business in any industry, because the information was applicable to any industry. And yeah, so that's how I got to be here and how I got to know you, Monique.
Oh, yay. Well, that's so inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing that. What would you say is the favorite part about the work that you do? Like your most favorite part?
I would say the transformation. When someone realizes that they can actually do it, it doesn't, like with their content and their strategy and their social media, and that it's not as hard as they think it's going to be. Like, I think sometimes we have in our heads that some tasks are really, really difficult. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way about social media because there's so many moving parts to it. So I feel like that is my favorite bit, when someone finishes working with me and they're just like, social media is so much fun. I feel like, yes, I've done my job.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so good. Yeah, because I know it can get pretty overwhelming, and I'm super excited about today's topic because, as you know, I'm super passionate about online business as well. But you know, social media is a huge part of that, because like business isn't the same way business is done anymore. And so, what would you say is the biggest mistake that people make when it comes to their content strategy? Maybe when they're first starting out, and you know, because social media can be kind of overwhelming for somebody that's totally new to it.
Yeah. So I think the biggest mistakes people can make with their content is really not knowing like who they're trying to market. So if you don't know who that one person is, then you're really going to struggle to attract your ideal client. And obviously that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring, you know, people into our audience, into our community that, you know, want to hear our message and, you know, need our help. And I think people often think if they niche down, then they're excluding everyone, but actually they're opening it up to so much more. And we've all heard of like the weird and wonderful niches, and like how well they do. My friend owns a wreath making business, and he just posted on Facebook that they've turned over 3 million this year.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. Wreath making. It's literally like wreath making tutorials.
That's incredible. That's just crazy. Like, well, that's where the magic is, you know, like when you figure out that niche. Because I know like there's that saying where it's like, if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody. So you need to figure out like who you're talking to. Can you debunk the myth that you need a lot of followers to make, you know, to start an online business, like or to be successful online?
Yeah, you really, really don't, because I think people think the more people they have in their audience, the more chance that they're going to make money from their audience. But actually, what is much, much better is a small engaged audience who are there for you to hear your message because they want help, rather than a really large audience of people who don't really care about your content or what you have to say. So I've had clients that have had like 300 followers and they're making really good money from their Instagram account. And I've also had someone who's had like 16,000 followers, and she's literally just, you know, been trying to collect people, and she's not making anything from her Instagram account.
Yeah, no, totally. Well, thank you for sharing that, because it's just like the vanity metrics, right? And I remember like reading about an article where there was like this influencer who had like $1 million, or excuse me, 1 million followers, and she couldn't even sell like a single t-shirt to them.
Yes, that's a really good one. And yeah, if you guys Google that as well, it comes up. She had a huge audience, and I think she had something like, was it 20 t-shirts or something that some company had given her and said, like, you know, sell these, and she just couldn't.
Yeah.
And it was literally because she had probably collected people, probably bought followers, paid for likes, and she just really didn't have that community, and that is so, so important.
Yeah, no, totally. You hit on so many good points there, because it's like the fast way is not the way to go, right? Like,
social media is a long game.
Yes.
You need to be in it for the long game. Like, there's no quick way to get to like 10,000 likes.
Yeah, no, totally. So coming back to content strategy, what would you say are your top 3 tips for getting really clear on it and putting it into practice?
So I would say number 1, know who your ideal client is. I know I've been saying it the whole time we've been live, but it's so, so important. Really know who your ideal client is. And with your strategy as well, it's really important to know, like, when you're in those nurturing stages and like those engagement stages, and know when like you're in launch mode. And I feel like that needs to be like really aligned with your business goals as well. And I think a lot of people make the mistake of just posting out any random content when really it really needs to align with your bigger business goals. So for example, like if you say, I want to sell 5 products this week, okay, what do you need to put out on social media that is going to, you know, make those 5 sales?
Oh, that's great advice. Yeah, I never thought about it that way, because it's just like you really need to think about what stages people are in or what you're trying to do as well. So
yeah, and I think as well, if you're just starting out and you haven't really worked with anyone, it's really important to really nurture and engage your audience as much as possible.
That's awesome. So for some people, I know like the content planning part can kind of also get overwhelming. Any tips on, you know, staying organized with their content strategy?
Yeah, I would say try to batch create things as well. So rather than try and do a little bit every single day, I would say, okay, on a Monday morning, I'm going to spend 2 hours and I'm going to create my content for the whole of the week. You should know as well, like, what you're doing in your business that week. So whether you're, you know, getting ready to launch, or perhaps you are in launch mode, or perhaps like you're like, right, I really need to like really engage and nurture my audience this week. That should then be your, you know, what you're planning out then for the rest of the week. But yeah, batch creating. And like when you are taking like photos for your account, don't just take one, like do take like loads, like you know, so like my husband, my Insta husband, I'll be like, okay, today I need to spend like an hour just taking photos, and like we'll get like 20 different photos.
That's awesome.
I mean, not all of them are usable, but then I've got like a whole batch of them, and I feel like then that really helps like with the overwhelm, because I think a lot of the time like people get really stressed out about content and not having the right photos or not having the right graphics, whereas if you create all of that in one go, that really takes away the overwhelm as well.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I think it like probably helps you like just stay in creative mode versus having to like task switch all the time.
yeah I mean, my personality means that I have to switch tasks every few hours, otherwise I get really bored and I get nothing done. So I have to like set myself a deadline. It's like, right, I need to create all my content for this week and I've got like 2 hours, go. Whereas
challenge accepted.
Whereas like if I had to give myself like, I don't know, like half an hour every day instead, I would really struggle with that.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
What is something you wish somebody told you when you were first getting started on social media?
It's a lot harder than you think it is. You need to put in the work. And batch creating will be a game changer. I wish I had known that.
Yeah, I feel like we oftentimes get that illusion where it's just like, oh, we have to post every day. But sometimes you wake up and you just don't feel like it.
Yeah, exactly. And as well, I think when when you know, like, you're not going to get results straight away, and you know it's the long game, you are invested in it. Whereas sometimes I think people are really easy to give up, like when something doesn't happen straight away. And like, I know I can be really impatient in my business, and it's like, I've done this, like, why is this not working? I think if I'd known that it's a long game, then I think I would have been a bit more patient at the beginning, like I am now. And I would also say, like, do not be afraid to test things out. Like, test it. If you think it might work, give it a go. Like, test it. If it doesn't work, you've lost nothing.
Yeah, that's so true. That's such great advice. Girl, I'm like the same. Like, I feel like I really struggle with patience. I feel like I'm still struggling with patience, especially this year.
Yeah, I get
going on. Oh my gosh. But no, that's great advice. Okay, so last question. I always love to end these Q&As with action steps. What is the one action step you would recommend today to these young professionals or entrepreneurs to do today as it relates to improving their content strategy?
I would say create your content before you consume content, especially on Instagram. I have so many people say to me, like, they get overwhelmed, they have imposter syndrome because they don't think that their content is good enough. But they came on the platform because they were about to post, and 2 seconds ago they thought their content was amazing, and yet they've seen someone else's, and then all of a sudden, like, they've had a wobble, and all of a sudden they're now not going to show up for their community. So if you're coming on the platform to, you know, show up for your community, do that first and then scroll. And if there are people in your newsfeed as well that, you know, make you feel like you aren't good enough, unfollow them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you guys heard it here, and you have permission to do that.
Like we're giving you permission. Just unfollow them.
Yeah, well, and then if you don't want to unfollow, you can also mute as well. Like, I just found out about that recently.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah, no, but I think that's like really great advice, because I feel like too oftentimes, especially with social media, it's like that. It's like everyone's highlight reel, and it's so hard not to get into comparison mode. But I think that's really great advice. Like, you should totally just do it, just post it, you know, and then before the consumption part. That's awesome.
Yeah, don't even look at the newsfeed, because I know it opens on the newsfeed, and you're just like, you just got to quickly go, right, quick, click the plus. That's right. I'm safe. I can't look at anything.
Oh my gosh, totally. Well, girl, thank you so much. This has been awesome. And it's just been like really nice, like learning more about you and your story. And I've always been like really inspired by your work. And you just dropped so many gold nuggets. So I hope all of you tuning in live or catching the replay were able to take a lot of notes. So for people with more, with more questions, or if they're interested in working with you, how can they get in touch with you?
Just send me a DM. I'm on Instagram. I'm business_wonderland. My inbox was open. If you've got any questions, you want some help, then please feel free to just drop me some questions. I would hate to think that, you know, someone's too frightened to ask a question and then they feel stuck. But honestly, just send me a DM. I'm not going to like pounce on you and say like you have to come and work with me. Like, I'm an actual human being. Do you know what I mean? I'm very much happy to answer any questions. Just say that Monique sent you.
Hey, of course. Well, actually, can you touch on that a little bit too, just briefly? Because like, I know like that's something that kind of gets lost as well. Like, I feel like with social media, like people forget that it's people.
Yeah.
You know, you're working with other people. It's relationships.
Yeah, I feel like that's so important. And for me, I behave on Instagram as I would behave with people in real life. And I just, it's going back to like just being patient as well, because I know sometimes like we'll message people and they'll be like, oh, why haven't they got back to me? And it's just like, people do actually have a life outside of Instagram.
Totally.
It's nothing to do with you. Please don't take it personally. But and I just feel like just show up and be authentic. And I just think you will get so much further when you are yourself, when you treat people like real human beings and not just followers, just not numbers, just not likes. And like some people get really disappointed and they're like, only 20 people liked my post. And it's like, no, 20 real humans have taken the time to said that they like what you have just
Yeah.
posted. That is amazing. And I always think, like, picture those 20 people like in a room with you. I mean, I wish we could have 20 people in a room with us right now. Do you know what I mean? It's just like that's epic. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, I always try and be so much mindful around, you know, what people post, how people react, and yeah, just how people are on social media. Just be mindful of others, I would say.
Yeah, no, that's so true. That's such great advice. And that's the perfect way to end this. So thank you so much. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in live or catching the replay. Please let me know your thoughts and feedback as always. Or if you'd like me to have Katie on again sometime, like I told you, she's just a wealth of knowledge. So this has been awesome. But any final thoughts from you, Katie?
No, just come and say hello to me. Or if you've got any questions, yeah, just give me a shout.
Yay, sounds good. Yeah, I see all the hearts coming through. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you, everyone.
Right.
And thank you, Monique, so much for having me. It was awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I hope you have a great holiday and Happy New Year. And yeah, let's definitely talk soon. Part 2.
Yeah.
Comments coming
Merry
in.
Christmas, everyone.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.